All right, in three, two, one. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Stephen Bartle, coming back at you with another edition of Bartle's Breakdown. I'm your host. I've got a special guest on today, my man, Aaron Williams. Aaron, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. Thanks.
Hey, man, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Aaron's got a 15-year professional basketball career that we're going to get into, talk about some of his college days as well. But, Aaron, I'd like to start. A lot of times I'll ask people, how are you first exposed to the game? And I always get some interesting questions. So how were you first exposed to basketball?
Well, basketball was kind of just the thing we did in my neighborhood growing up. It's a little different than things, the way things are now. Get your friends together, go down to the park and play basketball. Those are some of my earliest memories. That and my father taking me to the park, just going down there, showing me how to shoot the ball off the glass and not letting me shoot from far away, making me shoot from inside close before I was able to, before he allowed me to move out farther. But just playing on the playground with my friends is some of my earliest memories of playing.
Did your dad play?
He played in high school at Evanston Township High School.
Oh, okay. He was a wild kid, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how good he was. He used to tell me he was pretty good, but all parents say that to their kids.
That's true. So now, did you grow up in Rolling Meadows, or where'd you grow up, Aaron?
Mostly Evanston.
Okay.
I went to high school. On Rolling Meadows.
Okay. All right. And so Evanston, for those that don't know, is a nice sized city just north shore of Chicago, home of Northwestern University, and Evanston Township High School used to be one of the biggest high schools in the state of Illinois, and they always put out.
I think it's one of the biggest in the country, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I know growing up, man, you had to come up against some ballers growing up out there. Who were some of the guys that we may know that you played with growing up?
Probably the biggest name that I used to look up to is Everett Stevens. He was like the biggest thing coming out, when I was a kid. We thought he was Jordan. He was our Jordan when we were kids.
He could play and jump like Jordan because he used to wear my ass out when I was a freshman at Illinois. So I remember Everett Stevens very, very well.
Yeah, he was really good. He was really good. So, but other than that, you play with a lot of guys who can play, but mess with the wrong crowd or get into the wrong things, and next thing you know, you just wonder where they at. What happened to the, and there was a lot of guys like that who could really play, but didn't stay on the straight and narrow and kind of faded out.
That's amazing that we can talk about a city like Chicago or Evanston or even Carbondale, where I grew up. There's always an element that can get you sidetracked. That's for sure. So when you were coming out of high school, Aaron, I know you had a lot of different schools that are interested. Who were like your top 3 or top 5 that you were looking at coming out?
No, actually, I wasn't highly recruited. I had, Loyola Chicago, Kansas State, Creighton. There was a lot of mid-majors. Xavier, obviously. University of the Pacific out in California.
Oh yeah.
There was many small schools, but there was not one Big Ten school, not one Big East school. Matter of fact, the only probably school from my major conference was Kansas State.
Okay.
So it came down for me. I went down to Xavier and visited, and I loved it. And I went to Loyola and visit there. So it really came down to, do I want to go away or stay home at Loyola? And I chose to go away and take a chance.
So what was it about? Because I've been to Xavier plenty of times. I've called games in the Cintas Center. I like the area. What was it about Xavier that you really liked?
Being from Chicago, I wanted to go somewhere where I was still in a major city. I didn't, not that anything's wrong with going to like college towns, but I was just since I was going away, I wanted to have some kind of familiarity with my surroundings, and I knew the city, so I wanted to kind of stay in the city atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And then the team welcomed me right away. I got along great with all the guys on the team, and the coaches were great. You get a good education. So and actually one of the biggest things was each player had their own apartment, and that was big.
Coming in as a freshman, you had your own apartment?
As a freshman, we had our own apartments.
Wow.
I mean, they were small, like studio apartments, but still, they had a kitchen in them. They had their own bathroom. So, yeah, that was something that I didn't see too many other places.
Yeah, so you missed the whole college dorm experience, huh?
Yep, never lived in a dorm, except for when I first went there. You know how you first go and you take some classes in the summertime before school starts? I lived in a dorm then, but that was it. Once school started, we had our own apartments.
You're watching Bartle's Breakdown. I'm your host, Stephen Bartle. We got Aaron Williams with us today. And Aaron, so your time at Xavier, I think you were there 89 and 93. Is that correct?
Yep.
So you overlap with Tyrone Hill?
Yep, Tyrone Hill and Derek Strong. They were seniors. They were seniors when I was a freshman.
Okay, so during your era, Aaron, I think Xavier might have been as good as anybody in the country at putting out power forwards. Would you agree with that?
I would. Tyrone Hill went on, I think he was an all-star for a year in the NBA, and he was just a tremendous rebounder and physical guy who could score, who could shoot the mid-range jumper. And Derek Strong was pretty much the same thing. They were both very identical. Tyrone was just maybe an inch taller. And then I came through there, and I'm not even putting myself in their class because I learned most of what I know from those guys, and I was what you call a late bloomer. And I ended up having, I went on to have a long career, but I wasn't an all-star type player or anything like that. And then, right behind me was Brian Grant.
Oh,
he came,
right.
These guys were, him and Tyrone were lottery picks. And I don't think, that doesn't happen too much from these little mid-major schools.
True.
Well, I don't say little mid-majors, but I think we take basketball pretty serious at Xavier, and we know we can compete with anybody. But to have that level of player come out, I think it really goes to the coaches too for having an eye for talent, for guys who aren't highly recruited, but they see something in them and they take them and they can develop them. So I think a lot of credit goes out to my coach Pete Gillen and Skip Prosser. Those guys, they saw something in us.
Okay, now who was the assistant? Was it Skip Prosser was the assistant that recruited you?
Yep, Skip the one who recruited me. He was the assistant, and Dino Gaudio was there. He's actually at Louisville now with Chris Mack, one of my former teammates.
Yep.
Yep.
I know exactly what you're talking about. So now, did you cross paths with Byron Larkin?
No, he left the year before I got there.
Okay, because I believe he's still the leading scorer at Xavier. Is that correct?
Yep. He was something else. He was the all-time leading scorer. I think he still does a radio broadcast down there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
right.
Great guy too. Yeah, but he's Mr. Xavier down there. Yeah.
So Aaron, you had a tremendous situation. So you had pros, you had great coaches in Skip Prosser, God rest his soul, was a wonderful coach. I met him.
Absolutely.
I didn't know him personally, but everybody I talked to would sing his praises about the type of man he is and was.
Absolutely.
And actually, Pete Gillen was to me one of the more underrated coaches in the country when he was coaching. He seemed like a great situation guy. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's exactly right. He those guys. I mean, actually, I got to talk to Skip before he passed away and told him how much he meant to me and how I owed probably 90% of everything I achieved to him and what he did for me. And look, you get older and you look back, and I realized that was probably the most important decision I made in my life was going to Xavier. As a kid, not developed and wet behind the ears, I didn't realize how fortunate of a situation I was in to be around the players I was around and the coaches I was around until after I left. And I realized how lucky I was to play, I got to learn from Tyrone as a freshman and Derek and all my other teammates and having these coaches like Skip Prosser and Pete Gillen, I just thought I was going to Xavier because I liked it. I played basketball. Hopefully we'll have a good team. I got my own apartment.
Right.
and end up going on to do some great things. And it's amazing when I think about it and look back on it now.
So you go through, and you mentioned that you're a late bloomer, Aaron. Was that as a result of, would you say you're a late bloomer because you started coming to your stride late in college, or did you kind of find your footing as a pro? How did that work?
I think it's a little of both.
Okay.
My high school coach at Rolling Meadows, he was a great guy, but he really taught me nothing as far as basketball. He just threw me out there, and I just played, and I just relied on my athletic ability. I could run and jump and block shots. So it wasn't until I got to Xavier till I really learned how to play and where to be on defense and that kind of thing, and spacing on offense, and just literally learned everything about basketball when I went to Xavier. So it's I mean, like I said, I owe everything to those guys. And even at Xavier, like I said, I wasn't a star player, or at least in my mind. And I took the attitude that we're winning, so everything is cool. I didn't have to score 20 points. I didn't need that praise or anything like that. But Coach Gillen will pull me aside from time to time and tell me that he needed me to be more selfish on the court. Because the more selfish I was, it's going to help the team.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that, until really, honestly, to my senior year, and we made it to the tournament, and I realized my career was coming to an end. And I was like, oh, yeah, I better step it up and show what I can do, because the NBA ain't looking at me probably right now. And, I want to try to show what I can do, but it was like too little too late. So, I had to take the long route to the NBA and play overseas and play in the CBA and do that kind of thing. And honestly, it wasn't until I got in the CBA where I realized that playing in the summer leagues and the NBA summer leagues, you play against the first round draft picks and all that. And I realized these guys aren't better than me.
Mm-hmm.
They're up there, and I'm down here in the CBA. It was like one day I just woke up out of bed and I said, all right, enough is enough. I'm the man. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to get the hell out of the CBA. Yeah. And that's what happened. And so, mentality plays a big role in how far people achieve things in life. And it wasn't till I decided that I'm the man, I'm going to do what I got to do. And it wasn't until I decided that till I made it.
So you said a mouthful there. Very well said.
Yeah.
No, it was good though. It was good. So so you left Xavier, you go undrafted, right?
Right.
So take me through where you went until you got to the league. Where were some of the stops?
Well, once I left there, I played in summer league with the New Jersey Nets, and I played great. They drafted Robert Wardan, I believe, out of St. John's, and
Robert.
He was their number one pick, and I was better than him in practice every day. I was better than him in our summer league games, but it was one of those situations where they didn't have a spot for me. So I ended up going over to Italy, and I played in Italy for 3 months before I got cut over there. And I mean, I'm sure over there, I didn't get cut because I can't play. I got cut because the team wasn't winning.
That's right.
So they're going to bring in some cheaper players just to finish out the season, so they have to pay me and my other teammate. And then I came back here and I played in CBA.
Which team?
And I'll go ahead.
Which team?
Overseas?
No, at CBA.
Oh, I played with Grand Rapids.
Okay.
Hoops.
Okay. Yep.
And then so I finished with them, and then I ended up making the Milwaukee Bucks team in the 94-95 season. I made their team, and then after that year, went back overseas, back to the CBA, and then back overseas to Greece, And then I came back to the CBA, and I got called up a couple of times and sent back. And then I got called up by Vancouver in '96, and then I stuck ever since.
Okay, so you left college in '93.
Yep.
You had to bounce around for 3 years until you got that opportunity that solidified you in the league. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Like I said, I went to Italy first, and I came back, played in CBA, and then I did play with Milwaukee for a year in '94, '95, but I never got to play. I was just never played. And then, so that's really not when I had my chance to make it. Not till I went to Vancouver, and Stu Jackson brought me up there, and they really gave me a chance to play and got some good minutes, and I could show what I could do. And then, once you're out there playing, all the other teams see you. So, and then I finished that year with them, and after that I signed with Seattle for 2 years, and then Washington and then New Jersey. So I've been all over.
So give me a story of either CBA or Italy when you were trying to get your footing in the league. Were there some funny stories or some funny things about being in Italy or being in Grand Rapids that you could share?
I don't know. Let's see, any stories?
Or what was your mentality like as you were you knew where you wanted to be and it was a little bit elusive, you were bouncing around a little bit. Kind of what was your mentality? How were you able to overcome some of this adversity, without a straight line to the NBA?
Well, one of the funny things is I never, ever thought that I wasn't going to make it.
Really?
So looking back, I didn't realize how naive I was and how extremely hard it is to make it. Well, for some reason, it never crossed my mind that I wasn't going to make it. I never thought about getting another job. I never thought, maybe this ain't for me. For some reason, I just never thought I wasn't going to make it. Even if I was over in Italy getting cut, if I was playing in the CBA, getting called up, sent back down, I never thought I wouldn't make it. So.
Now that's interesting, Aaron, because was that something that you developed as a kid, or did your parents groom that in you, or where does that kind of, I guess I'd call it confidence, because it doesn't sound like you're not an arrogant dude. I know you, and so
right.
How did you develop that confidence?
Yeah, it's not an arrogance that either. I swear it's being naive. That's the only thing I can think. Looking back, it's. I mean, I definitely believed in myself, but I just had no idea how hard it actually is to make it. I just knew I was going to make it. I don't know what it was. I can't tell you what it was. I just think I was just so naive because there's such a fine line between players playing in overseas and the CBA to make it to the NBA. I mean, the talent level is not that great.
That's
unless
right.
You're talking like all-star players in the NBA or, really good players in the NBA. But from being the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th guy on an NBA team compared to playing in the CBA or especially overseas where those guys can really play, there's not a huge difference.
That's
so
right.
There's a million guys playing overseas who are almost there, who, you might take a break here or there or just knowing the right person, but it's such a fine line. But for some reason, I just never thought I wasn't going to make it.
Wow, that's great, man. I that's interesting to hear that mentality. That's almost like Mamba mentality, like Kobe. Just because you weren't going to be denied, and didn't matter where you were around the country, around the world, you knew where you were going to be. So when you got solidified, I think was your best season statistically in New Jersey. Was that your best year?
Yep. Yeah. I kind of. I think I averaged 10 points one year, but like I said, I wasn't a big time player as far as scoring and what have you, which it kind of brings me back to how my coach told me in college that I need to be more selfish. I being on the NBA team, I'm on the team. I'm in the NBA. I want to stick here. I want to do what I do and just do it well. And I look back now, like I think I could have done more as far as scoring and being a little more prolific. But I mean, I can't complain. I played 14 years there, so I just tried to do my role and be that really, really good role player that the team can depend on and do my job. But yeah, we had some really good teams in New Jersey. I mean, made it to the finals twice, came up short, which that's going to bug me for the rest of my life. But you come so close and then come up empty-handed.
Right. That was you were with Jason Kidd and Kerry Kittles.
Yep, Jason Kidd, Kerry Kittles, Kenya Martin.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, even Dikembe was on one of those teams. Alonzo Mourning ended up coming. Yeah, we had Keith Van Horn was on that team.
Mm.
We had a talented team, talented group.
Who was the coach during that time, Aaron?
Byron Scott.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite coaches. He really believed in me. I think he played a long part in my longevity in the NBA too, because he really believed in me and gave me a shot. He would actually, I think he's the only coach in my NBA career that actually called plays for me.
Oh, is that right?
I'm a role player. Go out there, rebound. If they throw you the ball, that's cool. Go ahead and score. But he actually called plays for me. Which is, I think he was the first coach, the only coach in the NBA to ever do that.
So was it he just saw something in you that other coaches didn't see, or did you all strike up a unique relationship? How do you think that evolved?
Yeah, I think he just really believed in me, and we definitely had a special relationship. We had, I think we just had a special relationship, and he believed in me wholeheartedly, and I believed in him, and it was working. So
sure,
why not?
It definitely was working. Let me ask you something. Why do you think it's been difficult for him to get other jobs in the NBA? Because I find it to be very similar to Nate McMillan, a guy who gets respect from the players. He understands the players' grind, and he's a good tactician. I mean, was he like unofficially blackballed from the league, or what was it? Why is that Byron?
I don't know. I mean, I think he got another job in Cleveland, and he's with the Lakers too. So I don't know. I know he's a Laker guy. So, but I don't know. He's not a real XO's guy. I know in New Jersey, Eddie Jordan was the guy who we ran his Princeton offense, and he was the kind of X and O's guy. And then we had Lawrence Frank there.
Oh, that's right. I remember Lawrence Frank.
He was wacky, and he was just a ball of energy. But Coach Scott, he's a player's coach. He's like one of the guys. He'll come in, practice, talk shit to you, shoot. Have shooting games against you and gambling with you, betting money against you. He's just a player's coach. And all the guys liked him. So yeah, I think he should have a job right now. I don't know why he doesn't have a job now. He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
That's what I keep hearing. I've heard that. I've only met him a couple times, but I've heard he's a really good dude.
Yep.
So besides Byron Scott, who was the coach that probably throughout your vast NBA career, who was the coach that blended with your personality? Let's put Byron as the best, but is there another coach that blended with your personality well?
Let's see. I don't know that he I can't say he blended with me, but George Karl a little bit.
Okay.
He's kind of a player's coach too, although he does favor the superstars a little bit, But when you got Gary Payton and I came after Sean Kemp, so Vin Baker was there, but Gary Payton got a little special treatment, but I guess he should.
I'm sure.
But George Karl, I mean, I don't know so much that we blended, but I learned a lot from him too. I learned a lot, even more about defense from him, and that was pretty early in my career too. So that helped me a lot. I owe a lot to him also.
Okay. Was there a veteran that cuffed you? Because for me with the Pistons, it was Dumars and Mark West, who kind of took me under their wing and kind of showed me what was happening. Was there a vet that kind of cuffed you?
Not really. Not really. I think I play with a lot of great vets. Detlef Schrempf, he kind of did a little bit. He was really good to me. He was really good. But as far as learning, my thing was, if somebody's better than me and they keep beating me doing something, I need to learn how to do that.
Okay. I like that.
I need it, and that's what I tell my kids now. If you're playing against someone who's giving you trouble, learn what they're doing and steal that move from them. Or you find how somebody uses their body, learn how to use their body like they're using their body. So I think in that respect, I learned a lot from Vin Baker, and we're the same age, so he's a peer. He wasn't my vet or anything like that. We were just really good friends and playing the same position. I had to play against him every day in practice, and I learned from him how to use my body, the way he does. And yeah, I mean, just I've been fortunate to have some really great teammates, some Hall of Fame teammates, and it's just been a dream come true for me.
Okay, and so at the end of your career, did you leave on your terms, or was it that you didn't get re-signed? What was the last team that you were with?
The last time I was with was the Clippers.
Okay. And what happened there?
I had played – I got traded to Oklahoma City, which was when Katrina hit. The team had to move, and they moved to Oklahoma. And so I was in I got traded there from Toronto. So I was in Toronto. I got traded to Toronto from New Jersey. And then Byron Scott was the coach in Oklahoma City, and he traded for me to come down there. And then from there, after that, I signed with the Clippers the last 2 years. And after having a long career, somehow I was always in cold cities, and it was just nice to be in LA. It was it was nice to finish in LA. After practice, you go outside, and it's nice and warm, the sun is shining. I was like, oh man, this is nice. I like it here. But I mean, the way it ended, I think I just kept getting like little injuries, and it just got harder to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. And then the practices is what got hard. Like the games were games, right. But practicing all the time is, as you get older, I started getting more tired, and little injuries that wouldn't heal as fast. And then the travel actually started bothering me. I was getting tired from the travel and late nights, and and then so after 2008, I just said, you know what, I think I'm done. And then San Antonio called my agent and said, we're looking at you. Would you want to come back and play with us? And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, get a chance to win a ring again, play with Tim Duncan. I was like, hell yeah. So I started working out like crazy and trying to get back in shape, and then they ended up signing Antonio McDyess. So
okay.
He was really good for them. He was really good. So I don't blame him for that. But,
yeah, I remember that.
And then after that, I was just like, I guess I'm just done for real. So yeah.
Okay. And then what did you transition into, Aaron, after you stopped playing?
Man, I went for maybe 4 or 5 years not knowing what I wanted to do, and it was really rough. It was really rough. I didn't, because sitting around the house that's not gonna get it done, So I think I went into depression, and I didn't know what to do. And the funny thing is, the NBA is so great at helping players transition if you know what you want to do.
That's right.
like I tell people all the time, like, if you know when you're done, you want to be an architect, they'll get you internships with the best architectural firms in the country.
That's right.
Or you want to, whatever you want to do, they get you with the best people. But my thing is, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I couldn't even take advantage of it. And then I've always liked real estate, so I ended up doing real estate. And I met my partner actually on Facebook.
Okay.
And then me and her met, and we just decided to become partners, open up a brokerage. And I've been doing that since, I think, 2014. We started that.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was it was real difficult. Even now, honestly, it gets difficult now because it's not a passion of mine. You know, I like real estate, but it's not a passion. And there's probably nothing I'm gonna find ever that's gonna be the same passion as basketball.
That's right.
And when it ends at such an early age, you know, respective to the rest of your life, it's hard for a lot of players.
I'm glad you shared that, man, because Aaron, you know this, man. Like, a lot of guys struggle with that. I mean, I went through a bout of depression at the end of my career, and I didn't have nearly the career that you enjoyed. But there's something about the competition, the energy during the games, the camaraderie with the fellas, like just being around the guys. Or those are the things that I really missed. Was there another aspect of the game that once you were out, you were kind of trying to figure out what the next step was, that you realized, like, man, I really missed this? Was there another aspect that you really missed?
No, I mean, you hit it right on the head. Just the competition, you know, I can't find anything in my day-to-day life that matches that kind of competition or competitiveness, you know. I'm sure some business people do in the business world when they have trying to make deals go or whatever, but the physicality of it, you get to go out there and bang people and get your frustrations out. And
right.
And after the game, you know, in the locker room, just hanging with the guys, and it's like a family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a brotherhood. And that it just comes to an end. Like one day it's just over.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't, you know, it doesn't go from 7 days a week to 5 days a week to 2 days a week. It's just 7 days a week, then over.
Right.
And a lot of the guys are 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you've done this for 10 years, or if you're lucky to play that long, and now it's just over. And what do you do? You know, so it's tough.
I know you had some success in real estate, but I think where you're probably the most successful, Aaron, is as a father. You seem to be a doting father, a loving father, and your children are doing quite well. I know you've got, I believe your oldest daughter is playing volleyball at Northwestern.
Yep, there we go.
There you go, right, Northwestern. Your baby girl just got a scholarship to Michigan for basketball. Is that correct?
Yep, absolutely, yep.
And then your son, I know he's a hooper as well. Yep. What do you think has been the success behind your children's success? Why do you think they're so good in their respective sports?
They're pretty dedicated to what they do, and I know for me it's like when I help them or teach them. I mean, there's some things you can do at a younger age that can, if you know a little bit how to play, you can be better than most of the kids out there if you have the physical ability to do it.
That's true.
Which they do. So they have the physical ability to do it. So I just tell them little tricks and how to really stand out and get noticed. But they have the drive and they want it. So that's half the battle right there.
That's true.
They work hard, and I try to help them when I can and work with them. Actually, we're going today to go to the gym. We found a gym. Don't tell nobody. I know we're supposed to be on lockdown.
So you got until 5 o'clock. You good?
Right. We got till 5. So we'll get a little work in today, and then my son, he's been doing home. He does workouts all the time at home, just doing stuff, and he's really dedicated. So I'm hoping he'll be in store for big things coming up next year too.
So Give me their names, and from the oldest to the youngest. What are their names again?
The oldest is Danielle, and she'll be a senior coming up this year at Northwestern. And Cameron, she's a senior in high school right now. She'll be a freshman at Michigan next year. And my son is AJ. He's a junior at Whitney Young.
Oh, wow. Okay. Man, that's great, man. Congratulations on their success and what you're doing with them, because I could tell.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, I see Danielle. I've seen her at Northwestern a couple of times, and you
Yep.
know, holding it down, and you know, the balance between that academic rigor and the athletic part, man. To be able to juggle that, she's going to be set for the rest of her life. As will Cameron at Michigan. That's a great school. So, I mean, you're to be commended for that, because that's not easy to get two children into Big Ten institutions like that. So, congrats on that, man.
Yeah, I'm really happy. I couldn't be more proud of them and more happy with where they're ending up. Two schools that, if they play the cards right, they'll be set for life, and with the connections they can make and the education they'll get there. So we're really excited about that.
That's good. Okay, now I'm gonna transition as we're getting close to wrapping up, but I want to ask you a couple different things. We're talking more about the game now, about the NBA game. To me, what are your thoughts on today's game? Because it seems like everybody's pacing space. That's all the NBA. Everybody's doing it.
Absolutely.
What do you think about today's game? What are your thoughts?
It's almost like if you can't shoot threes, you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, and it's funny how that transition has happened just so fast, so rapidly. It's almost like Steph Curry came and started shooting from half court, and since he was making them, the whole game just changed. Now everyone wants to do that, and it's I think you get a lot of people coming in jacking up threes, but I think as we move forward, more guys are really practicing it at a younger age. So now there's a lot more great shooters than there was, you know, back when I was playing, or even when you were playing.
True. That's true.
It's almost like everyone out there can shoot threes now. So the spacing in the game is different. The pace of the game. Plus they changed the rules, so the pace of the game is a little faster. I think they wanted it to be a little more high scoring for the fans.
Agreed. Yep.
And it's almost like a totally different game out there these days.
Yeah. Is there a player that you like to watch in the NBA right now?
Honestly, I just root for LeBron to lose out there all the time. I'm a hater. I'm a hater. I admit it. It's not. He's a great player and even better off the court. I love him off the court, but on the court, I just think he just cries too much, and he flops, and I can't deal with that. I can't. And not only that, he cries and always complains he doesn't have enough help on his team. And I think he was one of the architects of the super teams. He's kind of the one who started that going out of Miami. And then, not to mention, people always want to compare him and Jordan, you know. So all of that. That's why he's a great player. He's phenomenal, and I don't take that away from him. But nowadays, if he's on, whoever he's playing, I'm rooting for the other team. That's
I love your honesty on that, man. I love your honesty. So, Aaron, where can people find you, man? Social media wise, where can we find you? Where can people follow you?
I'm on Instagram, Aaron Williams 34. On Twitter, Aaron 34 Williams. And Facebook, just Aaron Williams.
Okay. And is there anything you got coming up that you want people to know about, or anything that outside of the coronavirus situation, but is there anything that?
Yeah, no, nothing right now. I'm trying to do, just doing some real estate stuff, and meeting with a couple of people, hopefully have some good things in the works, but there's nothing that's, nothing worth mentioning really on here. Just trying to hunker down, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep the kids on the right path and get through this Corona thing.
Okay. Well, man, Aaron, thanks so much for joining Bartle's Breakdown, man. I really appreciate the time and your wisdom and sharing your background with us, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Anytime, anytime.
All right, that's Aaron Williams. I'm Stephen Bardo. That'll do it for this edition of Bardo's Breakdown. To come back to the page, because every day we're going to have an interview like this, or I'll be live. Great interviews like this one with Aaron, with other players, other coaches, other people around the game, because we're going to get through this coronavirus situation together. So until next time, holla, peace. All right, man.